Sup shitters, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today I'll be reviewing a track from an act named Zensi Vibe titled Astral Nocturne. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves the track on the screen here on YouTube. We're going to be listening through the song from start to finish. And we're going to hear what we think. Let's go, let's do it. I love the saxophone with the guitars, it's so groovy, dude. It's actually really gorgeous. Really lush extensions here. Fantastic introduction, very peaceful. And it's like the panning of the little kind of percussive bits in the background going from left to right like that in unpredictable positions. I enjoy it, it's very creative. Oh, the saxophone with their nicely polished 808s and those trap kicks. So sultry and so these are two different takes. What a phenomenal unison to it. Really actually quite enjoying the sound of the sax with these elements here as an alternative lead element like a voice. Definitely is a vibe here created by Zensi Vibe. And then those vocal chops there, there's kind of interesting low mid resonance there, which contrasts well with what the saxophones are doing. Oh, we're chopping up the saxes? Oh man, phenomenal development. We've got some kind of loud drum-esque kind of percussive plonks in the background as well as a sublet. This is incredibly musically complex and I really adore it. And the breathing sounds, yeah, a little bit of extra groove pace, you know. Oh yeah. Honestly, this production is pretty on point. In all honesty, I'm really blown away by how it sounds. It's very professional sounding, you know. And I just feel like this is a nice review to do on like a Thursday evening, you know, when you've been swamped with reviews all week and you're having to do catch up, but this is just wonderful, you know, puts you in a really good mood. I return to that melodic motif here we had before. The video is absolutely wonderful, by the way, like the visualizer there alongside the guy playing the saxophones. It's quite a visual feast. You know, I'm really enjoying the combination of different elements there. What a way to spend 3 minutes. Honestly, like because I've reviewed Zensi before, right? Because this is my my conclusion of my review of Astral Nocturne from Zensi Vibe. I think I previously reviewed a Metamorphosis, if I'm not mistaken, or something along those lines. I'm sure I've reviewed Zensi Vibe before. And let me tell you, dude, this is one of the most interesting instrumental tracks I've heard in quite a while. I love what we've done with this to approach it in a way where you have the traditional sort of bass and drum elements there alongside some interesting sort of sloshy kind of delay reverb soaked guitar parts. The saxophone was unexpected, I'll be honest. The saxophone was unexpected. And if I'm to be fair, I think the song needed a lead element, like a strong kind of main focal point there, because while I appreciate the going through the ether thing, being transported to another land kind of concept here. It just added a bit of familiarity there so that you didn't go too far into the source. You know what I mean? Mad respect for that. We've got someone here. Hang on, I just want to confirm something. So as far as I can tell, I actually think that Zensi Vibe might have been the one actually playing. You know, I think that might have been the one doing the saxophone duet, which if that's the case, that's phenomenal. Well done. The note choice there for that lead voicing was sensational. It was uplifting yet sophisticated. It was peppy and charismatic yet very mature at the same time. There was a depth to it with the harmonies there, those fourths that we went outside of the unison ones, where we really knew how to make it sort of really meaningful and impactful without sort of overblowing or overplaying. And like those you know, it's some interesting 16th triplets parts come in just to show a little bit of our tenacity and our skill on the brass. But you know, we knew to keep that voicing simple like we were singing, even though we had a lack of vocals, because even if there's an instrumental, it can, again, it's not always a bad thing to have a lead with sort of something to chart your way through, just something in the middle to kind of hold your hand, you know. But we had like vocal chops and little sort of percussive plucks and different textures and sounds that I'm not really familiar with. I do like that kind of alternative percussion kind of concept. There was some melodic kind of plink and plocks somewhere as we went along. There was some vocal chops there and a low mid resonance with even the breathing there just to keep the groove going strong. There were a lot of different fun textures, tones and sounds there to appreciate. And I think we didn't get them all at once. We introduced new parts as we went along, as if we were going through the cosmos together, you know, as if we were going from start to finish and we needed to experience all these different colors and sounds in order to really appreciate what was going on there. But it was nice to have the saxophone at the start and the end to kind of indicate that we were still in a safe place. And I just think that there was a complexity to the composition. We have someone who's familiar with music theory and composition here, and who really, I think, pockets for the sake of making it more sort of accessible to people. You know, you could tell they could do even more sort of technically fancy or theoretically fancy stuff than this, but they don't want to. They want to keep it still palatable to people who may be new to it. But yeah, if I was looking for someone to make me some beats or something like that, I'd definitely approach Zensi Vibe to do that. The recording, mixing and mastering was fantastic. I like the depth of the mix. You know, all the different instruments, including the saxophone, were recorded tremendously well. Like, I'm not sure how much of it was samples versus like recorded takes, but the saxophone sounded like it was a part of the room. That's a very difficult thing to do. It can be very difficult to get the sound of your instrument, that your like live recorded instrument, to fit in with samples, but we've managed to do that here and articulate ourselves incredibly well. The way it was mixed with this duet with the saxophones on the side, and like kind of having just the single element sometimes or the solo element sometimes, it's a masterstroke. Like, I like the fact that we managed to get it to float in there and amongst all the different sub bass, mid and higher resonancy kind of things going on there. It was nice and bright with the saxophones there. We knew how to notch stuff to fit into the frequency spectrum quite well. We played around with the positions of different percussive hits as well, so there's automation of the panning and things like that there, bits of filtering there. Our studio post-production is very strong, and I am very positive about how I feel about this track, primarily because of that. I think if you let yourself down in the studio element, especially with an instrumental track like this, where one part, at least when you first come in there with those guitar parts, you know you're in for a ride, even at 3 minutes. So you really need things to hit and slap the way they do. And I mean, like, there was dynamic range, but it was also nice and low without pumping, so the limiting, compression, and leveling was all done. I mean, ultimately, this is my review of Astral Nocturne by Zensi Vibe. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go check out their various social medias and their YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands Out.